Congressman Lee Zeldin spent 4 years on active duty with the U.S. Army, served as a state senator and later as a congressman for 7 consecutive terms. Now he's running for governor, and this is the closest a Republican has gotten to the governor's seat since Governor George Pataki 2 decades ago. We took a ride on the subway with Zeldin to dig into his campaign and how he would lead over the next 4 years.
Congressman Lee Zeldin says voters are focused on 2 issues this year.
A lot of people, you ask them, what's your most important issue? Just, man on the street, a woman on the street, ask somebody what's on the top of your mind. People are talking about crime and public safety.
And crime especially is what Zeldin has centered his campaign on.
The first day that I am in office, immediately after being sworn in as the next governor of the state of New York, I will be declaring a crime emergency here in the state of New York.
Zeldin says this crime state of emergency would allow him to suspend the state's cashless bail laws. While murders and felony assaults are down compared to last year, the city is seeing a crime surge, with transit crime up more than 41% compared to last year. And according to Zeldin, the leading causes are bail reform and Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, who Zeldin says he would fire immediately. We asked Zeldin how he would tackle crime on the subway.
I think that it's really important to have more law enforcement. I think it's important to enforce fair jumping. Day 1 memo of Alvin Bragg, he said that he wasn't going to enforce that at all. Some people, when they ride the subway, they're Jewish, they take their yarmulke off because they're afraid of being attacked.
Zeldin says part of cleaning up the subway is also clearing out homeless individuals who are at times camped out next to or on the trains.
You shouldn't be able to loiter and do that. The people, they're not clothed, they're laying down. This is not a place for people to be participating in activities other than moving from point A to point B.
Zeldin has also focused his campaign on across-the-board tax cuts, saying he would get rid of the state's personal income tax and the estate tax. He also wants to make the state friendlier to businesses and have home ownership in reach for most New Yorkers.
They want a good paying job. They want to be able to afford to pay their bills. What is the American dream for that New Yorker? Often includes home ownership, wanting to have a family, wanting to be independent.
Zeldin has been clear that he is pro-life, a position that his opponent, Governor Kathy Hochul, has criticized him for. But he also says he won't mess with New York's abortion laws already on the books.
Would you use any sort of executive action to roll back any abortion protections in New York?
My commitment is that the law that was passed a few years ago that codified far more than Roe, I will not change.
While Zeldin was serving as a congressman, he did vote against certifying the 2020 presidential election. But when it comes to elections here in New York, Zeldin says he believes they are fair and free.
New York actually has a lot of laws that are on the books to ensure election integrity. Now, I'm someone who does support voter ID, and even regardless of that conversation, if you just look at the laws that are on the books, there are actually a lot of laws to ensure election integrity that don't even exist in a bunch of other states.
Hochul's campaign has also criticized Zeldin on his alleged ties to far-right groups. Zeldin took a meeting with the Long Island chapter of the Oath Keepers in 2015. Also volunteering for his campaign is a Long Island Loud Majority, which has been labeled an anti-government group by the Southern Poverty Law Center. We asked Zeldin about the Long Island Loud Majority and if he condemns right-wing extremism.
I would just say it's important to meet some of these people, ask them 1,000 questions. And I'll tell you what, I've met a whole lot of people when your takeaway, Morgan's takeaway will not be that that person is a right-wing extremist.
Zeldin has momentum on his side. While still trailing Hochul in the polls, Real Clear Politics has now labeled the race as a toss-up.
We can be in charge of our own government. We need to take control of our own future as voters in these final days. Make sure we all come out and vote. I'd be honored to serve as New York's next governor, and I believe that I would do a great job.
All right, Morgan's back with us now. Morgan, here's my question. Democrats outnumber Republicans in the state by something like, what, 2 to 1? How is this race so close?
So right now we're seeing in the polls that voters are saying that crime, the economy, those are their 2 top issues. And Republicans definitely cornered this message really early on in this race. And we're seeing this a bit nationally as well. Voters picking Republican candidates because they believe they can deliver on things like public safety, lowering taxes. Now, Kathy Hochul definitely does have the enrollment advantage here, but Zeldin has this momentum, energy on his side. Whether that's enough to overcome this enrollment advantage remains to be seen.
We'll find out Tuesday. Morgan, thank you very much.